Howdy. Welcome to Books and Things with Tom. And I have a special lady with me tonight here. Her name is Mary Bilby. And Mary is a author, and she's also a member of CAPA, Connecticut Authors and Publishers Association. And she has written a very courageous memoir of her experience as a rape victim and how she's managed to survive and live with it. And I've read the book. You read it until you finish it. Just kind of welcome, Mary.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
My pleasure. And we've become friends because of Kappa. And you were born in Salem, Ohio?
Yes, in the country of Salem. All farms and cows, and up until I was 9 years old, we lived there. And then my dad lost his job, and it was in 1959. So we moved to Rhode Island. At that time, he got a job at General Dynamics, and he promised my mom, only 3 years until we get back on our feet, and we'll go back to Ohio to where our relatives are. But that never happened.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I live in Rhode Island, and
you went to Wesley High School?
I did, and I graduated from CCRI, and my background is in human resource, so I've worked in various large corporations.
I noticed that by the list here that you've worked a few nice places.
Yeah,
Foxwoods.
I did. Yeah, Mohegan Sun, MetLife, Quality Transitions. Yeah.
Wow, very interesting. It's amazing that people say, "Well, I worked that place for 45 years." We've had a lot of experience. I have worked so many places, and I never got a watch that they spell my name wrong. I never worked any place long enough. So, what made you write the book?
Well, I was attacked and raped when I was in my late 40s, so in the late 90s. So I had gone through therapy, in years to come. One of my therapists said, keep notes, and I couldn't write anything down. I couldn't say the word rape or anything, and she just insisted that for me to keep a log of my memories and whatever. So eventually I started to, through tears, I'd get on my computer and I'd type and cry and type and remember everything and whatnot. And then the following week I'd go into a session with her and we'd discuss it, and then more things would come out and I'd type and write and whatever. And years later, when I no longer needed to see her, and in conjunction with my visits to the counselor, I had contacted the Rape Crisis Center, and so every Saturday morning I was on the phone with one of their counselors. I had art therapy to help me too.
Yeah.
And all of those together, helped move things along and get the emotions out there and help me to deal with it and to move forward. So later on, when I looked at all these notes I had, I decided to write a book. And I started to read other people's who were rape survivors. Mm-hmm. We don't like to be called rape victims because we are now survivors. So I read a number of their books. And one of the individuals, her name is Donna, and she started an organization called Jane Doe No More in Connecticut. So from reading her book and going onto her website and everything, I thought, I need to write this book. It's going to be more therapeutic for me. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's going to help family members to understand what their loved ones are going through. I suffered with PTSD, and I still have triggers today. And that was many years ago that this incident occurred. So I'm hoping that my book is going to help people to understand that no one wants to be raped. It's not, we're not having sex when we're being attacked.
Not unless,
you know.
not unless you listen to one of the politicians that. No,
So-
it's horrible.
Yeah, but I'm hoping my book is going to help people to understand and to bring the topic out even more, because it's been hidden for so long, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say, geez, I'm really sorry. You know, we'll just sidestep it and not. Because I go through the same thing with my son. People don't want to talk about it. And I do. I want to talk about it because I got nothing else to talk about. But people are strange, and if they know that something's happened, they're not going to talk about it.
Well, sometimes I think that they feel as though if they mention it, then you're going to be upset or whatever, so
absolutely.
they avoid it, where in fact that maybe you need to talk about it, because talking about it is more therapeutic. It's getting it out there.
Yes,
It's
absolutely
helping
is.
you to deal with it, you know.
Yeah.
In the past, I've had friends, once I started to come out, that they just kind of turned their back and walked away. They said they were still friends, you know, but they didn't come around. And once my book has come out, and now publicity is about it, you know, a lot of individuals are stepping up to the plate, but I'm seeing more that are turning away because either they're embarrassed or they're shocked or they don't know how to handle it, or maybe even similar incidents have happened to them in their lives.
Could have.
You know.
And I think they really don't know what to say. They don't understand. They don't have to say anything. And that's I tell people, they never know what to say about my son. I say, hug me. That's all.
Yes, a hug is worth so much.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
totally believe in hugs. Now, the name of your book is Wash It Away. Would you explain how you got the title?
When I was going through art therapy, she had us take our emotions, and it's not art therapy such as, you know, your poster back here or my book cover. They're your emotions. So one time, one of the assignments was to, you know, like do an art of how you feel. So I woke up in the morning and I was staying at a friend's house, and I walked outside and they had a gravel driveway. And I just took some glue and put it on the canvas, and I sprinkled the gravel all over it. And then I'm looking up at the pine trees there, and I'm thinking, okay, let's take some pine needles and throw them on there. And that is not a portrait, it's not a landscape. This is how I felt. I felt as though I had been blown away in a tornado and pulled through the woods and pine trees and pine needles and stones all over my body. That's how much I was aching from this. So after I did that art and I brought it in and we all showed our art, the art instructor would often say, "Wash it away." And that's how I came up with my title. I heard it so often in the art class, "Wash it away."
Sure. That's cool. And I would think that a therapist would look at that picture and say, "Oh my God, help this woman." That's terrible. Wow. When I wrote my son's book, it was very similar to what you did. But I'd been 3 years after he died, and I started writing tears, and I couldn't read it, so I went to bed, and the next morning I just started reading and go, "Oh my God, did I write that?"
Exactly.
And because I didn't think about it, just wrote everything that came out of my head. And I think you probably did the same thing.
I did. I would wake up in the middle of the morning, like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'd just get on the computer, and because it's always in your mind, and so I would just like write what was in my mind, you know, my emotions, all my private thoughts.
And you can't wait till you get up later.
No.
Because it's gone. The message is gone, and you think, I should have gotten up and done it and I've done that. I've gotten up in the middle of the night and go sit on the computer for half an hour and think of it, because I've got some great ideas that have just disappeared. kind of like finding the keys. I can't find those either. But I think what you did is a very courageous thing, and to put it out there that this is what happened to you, and for other people to understand what you went through, and I'm sure they go through the same thing, and not everybody naturally, but they've been through same things, and they don't know what to do. Where do you go from here? And but you've done a great book, very interesting. And where can we buy your book?
It's on Amazon. My book just came out in mid to late May, so the marketing process is just newly, it's a new concept to me. So it's on Amazon. Soon it will be out in the bookstores and whatever, but you can buy it on Amazon.
And you can also send to her email, the Mary Bilby Show, and I'm sure she can get a copy to you. And if you want, send me a note, and I'll make sure you get a copy. So there's a number of places where you can get your book out.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a great book. Where are you going to go from there? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Well, once my marketing is done, I'm planning a couple of trips. One to California and to Florida and Ohio. So I'm hoping to, get the word out in those locations and whatnot. But I'm planning on writing a second book. It's not going to be a memoir. It's going to be life stories, but on a... Yeah, it's not going to be a memoir. They're going to be fictitious characters.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting. It's not going to be gloom and doom and whatever.
Well, I'm not trying to push. I just, because I know you got to get this out there. And we've also been at the Groton Farmers Market. If anybody hasn't been down there, it's at Washington Park on Tuesdays. And I think we all sold one book each. And it's not so much how many books you sell as much as how many contacts you make and really getting to know people and get people to know who you are. And then when you come back the next time, I remember you, and then maybe they'll buy a book a second time. But they're get down to the Washington Park, and Tuesdays from 3 to 6. And they got authors down there. They got a lot of stuff down there. And there's also one in London at Williams Park, and I think it's at the same time, 3 to 6. And so we might see one of us or both of us there. I am planning to go back down to the Groton probably. And maybe next week I got to check with Sheila and see what's available. I have fun. I don't sell a lot of books. I just have a good time.
Well, my books are selling on Amazon.
Are they?
Yep. I'm surprised at the number, because I'm not known. And this is such a unique topic.
Yeah.
It's not like people that are purchasing series and, children's books and health or whatever. So considering the topic, and I'm getting the word out there pretty much. It's on Facebook, and I have my Facebook page, ML Bilby on Facebook. So if you go on to ML Bilby, then you'll get my book page. So.
I've sold a lot of books through Facebook. People, you got a book about Mystic, or and next thing you know, you sold a couple of books. Not a lot, but just a couple. That's all that's necessary. Keep me happy. And you're going to be in the Big E? Oh no, are you?
Yes, I'm going to be at the Big E.
Okay.
In September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to get a sales tax.
Yep, I need to get my sales tax number for Connecticut.
And I'm surprised you can do that online now. I had to drive to Norwich to get mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I had got mine such a long time ago. So you said you had 3 boys?
I have 3 sons, yep, and 8 grandchildren.
Wow.
Yep. My youngest granddaughter, I have 4 granddaughters and 4 grandsons. So my youngest is 28, I believe, and the oldest is 27. It's a grandson. So
She started very early.
no, I just look good for my old age.
You do. You do. You look very good.
So, yeah.
And they live around here?
One lives in Salem, Connecticut, and my two others live in Rhode Island, in Wakefield and Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd they think of the book?
They're holding back on their comments until we meet.
Yeah.
We'll have a family meeting. So actually, they just got their books. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's...
It's a touchy situation.
Yeah.
One of my sons was pretty much was aware of it, towards the end.
Yeah.
Because I kept it from everyone. I never reported it. He was never arrested. Charges were never pressed because it was someone that I knew.
Yeah.
And that my family would know.
And isn't that usually a high percentage of it?
Yeah. When I was doing research, you would think that strangers attack people, but more often than not, it's someone that and children that are being sexually molested. It's usually from someone that they're related to or someone that's close to them that they trust. You know.
And somebody that's not going to squeal.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because you'd like to see something like that punished to the full extent of the law, and or other ways. And it's just...
Yeah, my choice was, I always was protective of my children, and so it was like, how would they feel? What would they think? I was so embarrassed, so humiliated when it happened, and I was in a lot of pain, physical pain too, that I just blocked it all out. I wanted it to go away, and I didn't want my family to be disturbed by it. Looking back, I should have prosecuted. I should have. But I'm the type of person that puts everyone else first, their emotions and feelings. And being a mother, that's what you do.
Yeah. So I just want to keep it quiet. And that's typical, though. There's a lot of women that don't report it at all. And for the same reason, for embarrassment, or they think it was their fault, or, nobody's fault for doing something like that. He's a bad one. And I get very upset with people who beat women up and children. And anyway, let's find something good to talk about. I wish you luck with the book. And there's one of the parts in there where you gave your boyfriend a hard time, or
what part was that?
is that the one you wrecked his house?
Oh. Yeah, that was, I had PTSD.
Yeah, I think we should hit on that.
And he was the same height as my attacker. I always felt safe with him, but when he grabbed me, he grabbed my arm, and then I wasn't, my outer body was here, like say in front of you, but in my mind, I had gone away in my mind.
Wow.
And I seen my attacker.
Yeah.
And so I was running from him, and I just ran through the house and knocked things over, and I wasn't in my mind, I wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
I was running through woods. I was running through, and I have an uncle. Well, I had an uncle. He passed away many years ago, and he was in World War II and the Korean War and whatever. And I can remember as a young child, as a teenager, sleeping at their house, and in the morning, he would be gone, and he would get up in the middle of the night. He had PTSD. He'd get up in the middle of the night, and there was woods behind their house, and he would just be running through the woods, stark naked, because he slept naked, but he'd be running through the woods, and the neighbors were used to finding him out there running. And in his mind, he was in war, you
Sure.
know. And that's similar to what I experienced. You know, until you have the PTSD,
Yeah.
you don't realize the significance of it and the impact that it has on a person, you know.
Yeah.
And they say that sometimes, you know, it'll go away, you know, in 2 or 3 months or a couple of years, or never. You always have it. There'll always be those little triggers.
Yeah.
So for me, I still have little triggers. Someone who is the height of my attacker. I have a few friends that have husbands that are of the similar build.
Yeah.
They're lovely guys when they caress me, and I tend to want to do that, but my shoulders go up and I cringe because I still feel a little threatened,
Sure.
you know.
Is this going to be another one?
Huh?
Is this going to be another
Well,
one?
no, not that they are,
Yeah,
but
no.
you know,
No, but
the
mentally it's-
memories.
yeah.
Yeah, it just, the fear
Yeah.
comes up,
Sure.
you know.
And this is all covered in the book. Again, I'm trying to hit some of the spots in the book because it's just fascinating how
yeah.
you wrote it.
My book, even though it's a memoir of my rape and the survival of it, it's not so much the rape. More of the book is about the PTSD and the surviving of it,
Yeah.
and the recovery process.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because you went through a lot
yeah,
trying to survive and
Yeah.
trying to keep your mind straight, and you didn't like baseball camps.
no,
I did read the book.
yeah, yeah, I know, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, your mind does such tricks. Because you didn't even remember the rape for a while.
no, because I blocked it out.
Yeah.
And then in therapy, I was going to therapy for different reasons, and then all of a sudden, different things were coming out. And then I was in situations where there were triggers, and then I started to remember more and more, and, you know.
Yeah. And now you're going, when did that happen? I
Yeah.
don't remember that. When I was 12, I got hit by a car. And I remember leaving Mystic and ending up in a hospital. When in fact I had ridden my bicycle 3 miles up the river to Old Mystic and got hit on the way, either going over that way or on the way back. I hit by a car. My mind shut everything down. I remember absolutely nothing except waking up in the hospital with casts on and, you know, last rites, and I guess I was almost dead. But everything just, your mind does that. It gets rid of it for you.
Yeah, it shuts down,
Yeah.
you know.
And I never had any triggers to bring it back up, so I never had that. But I can see where you would.
Yeah.
How you feel now?
You know, I'm still in the healing process.
Yeah.
You know, I've come a very long way, but there are still some triggers. I don't have nightmares.
That's good.
I don't run through the streets. You know, a lot of what's in my book, none of that, you know, I have now.
Yeah.
You know, there's just these little, the fragrance, certain fragrances,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the smell.
Yeah.
And I've not dated since, you know, for a number of years.
Yeah.
So being around men, now I just joined a golf league, and I go in the clubhouse, and there's all men, and I'm not used to being in that group of men that are, you know, all around.
Yeah.
So I want to run out to my car and go home, you know, but I make myself stay.
Yeah.
So I'm gradually getting myself back into
Good. Good. Good
that
for you.
environment.
That's, and you mentioned about the fragrance. Again, when I was 12, I got hit by the car. I had one of my leg was infected. Gangrene had set in, and for some reason, I could not smell certain barbecue mix. And if I smell that today, it puts you right back in the hospital.
Oh, really?
I go,
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah.
No, get that out of here.
Memories,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got a couple of minutes left. Anything else you want to say?
Just go on to Amazon and type in Wash It Away, and when my book comes up, you'll be able to scroll through and read a couple of pages, and please purchase the book. If you spread the word, help me to spread the word. It's really quite a healing book, you know. It's going to be educational, I
Yeah.
think, for a lot of people, you know, so.
If you know somebody who's had a problem, this book can help you understand that person's problem, what they go through. People who go through horrendous things, a lot of people don't understand what you're going through. And they know it's bad, but you don't know until you've been through it. And it's very difficult. And that's why books like this help everybody understand. And I think that's what we got to do, is just get the word out that this is what happens. We know people have had that happen to, and we have to really kind of help them out.
Be supportive, you know,
Yeah.
be supportive of your family members, your friends, you know, anyone who's gone through a crisis. You just need to be supportive. Even if you say nothing, just be there for them,
Yeah.
you know.
And like I said, a hug is nice.
Yes.
A hug is always nice. But you got to be careful, because somebody can smack you for that, too. I used to, the first time I was up at the Big E, I was selling my son Todd. And of course, I'm talking to people who have either lost their child, or talking about mine. And the other guy that I was selling with said, "What have you got going over there? You get up, you hand a person the book, you give them a hug, and they give you $20. That's the sales thing. But anyway, you can contact me or contact Mary. We'll get you a book, or you can go to Amazon and get one out of there. Tonight, the VFW is serving chowder and clam fritters. They do that every Thursday, and it's free with the purchase of a beverage. I drink ginger ale, so you still get free stuff. On Tuesdays, yes, on Tuesdays for the next couple of months is going to be a farmer's market in Groton at the Washington Park from 3 to 6. I mentioned that before, and I want to mention that again. Have people go down there and try it out and see what we got. I know there's a lot of vegetables. There's all kinds of things down there. And on Fridays, it's the farmer's market in New London at the Williams Park from 3 to 6. The Kappa group of authors will be at the Big E, Connecticut building, at the Springfield, Mass, and that's going to be in September. And I have somebody, Dennis is coming down, he's going to talk about that, maybe next week or the week after. If you're down there, stop at the Connecticut building and take a stroll through and say hello to all the Connecticut authors, because we'll have a bunch of them down there. And that's always a good time. You know,
Well, this will be my first experience.
Thousands
yeah.
of people walk through there. They open the door and you go, oh my God, where all these people come from? And but it's fun. And then, like, I used to go up, I'd do my thing, and then I'd walk through the park. And my ex-girlfriend used to walk. She would go through the whole park. Then she'd come back and say, these are the ones you wanted to see, so I wouldn't have to walk through the whole thing. But Springfield, Big E is a great time. And I think it runs for 14 days, 17 days. I think it's
Something
17.
like that, yeah.
And they have Connecticut Day on one of those. That's a good day to go up there. We just had a Kappa meeting Monday, and we had so much food. My beans, we had different colors, different kinds of salads and everything. Anyway, thank you for watching, and you can contact me at santostom at comcast.net. You should be reading, and I'll probably see you next week. Couple up with a good book. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom,
Thank
for
you.
having me.